जय श्री गुरु गौरंग का गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा रमन बिहारी जी की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जी की जय। जय श्री विष्णु पाद परमहंस परविजय स्तोत्र शास्त्री श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत श्लवन गोस्वामी महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नितले प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र शास्त्री भक्ति वेदांत श्लवन गोस्वामी जय। विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र शास्त्री भक्ति वेदांत श्री नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितले प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज की जय। श्री भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती प्रभुपाद की जय। जयंती प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र शिला गुरु शिवदास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। शिला सच्चिदानंद शिला भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। वैष्णव साहब भाम जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय शिला रूपंद गुरुवार की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोप गोपी गो गिरिराज महाराज की जय। क्षमा कुंज राधा कुंज जमुना गंगा तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। ललिता विशाखा सखी वृंद की जय। श्री मंजरी रीति मंजरी अनंग मंजरी सखी वृंद की जय। जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र जी की जय। सविघ्न विनाशकारी निशिंहदेव भगवान की जय। भक्त वर्ष पद महाराज की जय। आचार्य संप्रदाय आचार्य की जय। खरमाता राज्य चैतन्य मठ की जय। कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समगत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय गौरपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तवनइति नामिने। वन्देऽहं भक्तिचकोरं गौरङ्गनिजप्रेष्ठितं श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिवान् नमस्तुभ्यं। शराधये कनिष्ठितं रसायनकथमृतं सङ्कीर्तनं नन्ददं गोस्वामिनं वनं नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदान्ता नारायणइति नामिने। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नमने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवास च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। First of all, my obeisance to my spiritual master, Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Shadri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Shlavana Goswami Maharaj. Nitya Pravistam Vishnupada Stotra Shadri Bhakti Vedanta Shlavana Goswami Maharaj. Nitya Pravistam Vishnupada Shlavana Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. So Shlarupanda Guru Vaga. To all of you present here in the past and the future and in the present, my Dandavad pranams. So I'm sorry we started a little bit late today. Actually, I was trying to troubleshoot this problem that I'm not able to share my screen on here because of the different programs that I normally use. So I was trying, but I couldn't, because I think it's nice now if you're at home and you can also read together with me. Anyway, let's see for next time. But we stopped on page 60, actually 65 of the book Bhakti Rasayan. We were reading about the birds of Vrindavan. So I'll remind you of the verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:35.11, page 62 of the book. So it goes like this. Sorry. Sarasi sarasaham savihangas charu gita hritachita sa itya harin upasatate yatta chitta hanta miritadrisho dhrita mauna. The gopi said, "It is very astonishing that Krishna steals away the hearts of the swans, cranes, and other water birds in such a way that they approach him, sit down, and worship him with their eyes closed and fully concentrate their minds on him." So, In this verse is from Yugal Gita. The gopis are saying, forget those bees, because before they were mentioning the bees. Forget those bees. More intelligent than them are these birds who reside on the water. When Krishna arrived in the forest, what astonishing thing happened? Hanta. Hanta means amazed. Being wonderstruck, the gopis are now marveling at seeing these birds. When the cranes and swans on the pond heard the beautiful song Krishna was playing on his flute, they became completely spellbound. Through the medium of their ears, they held Krishna within their hearts. Ordinarily, when they see someone, they immediately flee. Birds, they flee. But instead, they quickly came near to worship Krishna. So in this verse, upasata means worshipping with the mind, body, and words all at once. As long as a jiva is conditioned, he is not capable of performing real upasana, real worship. He can only be endeavoring for upasana because it means being near Bhagavan in his personal presence. So we read about this already in the previous class about upasana. Real meaning of upasana means sitting close to Bhagavan. So in the conditioned stage, we cannot actually do this worship, means sitting close to Lord. When we offer puja to the deity, that's called upasana. But is it really upasana? Where is the deity and where are we? We are conditioned souls, and he is all pervading, the solidified form of Satchid Ananda, transcendental existence, knowledge, and bliss. Therefore, we are not able to really be near God. But when our hearts are pure enough and we attain a spiritual form, then we can go near him. And it can be then called upasana, means worship. But as long as we are conditioned souls full of anarthas, we cannot really offer him archan, worship. From far away, the birds of Vrindavana, they approached Krishna with yatta chittaha. What is the meaning of yatta chitta? Means their minds were fully controlled. But what is our condition? Our minds are not controlled at all. In meditation, there are stages of mind control. So we already read this, we're just reminding ourselves. Yama means control of the senses, the niyama, control of the mind, asana, bodily posture, pranayam, breathing control, breath control, pratyahara, withdrawal of the mind of sense from sensory perception, dharana, steadying the mind, dhyan, meditation, and finally samadhi, trance. And when one has achieved this state, then his meditation can be called real upasana. So when those birds heard Krishna playing the flute and saw his exquisite form, they became yatta chitta, fully self-controlled. This is one symptom of a sadhu. It means to be self-controlled, completely absorbed in Lord. Two more are also described in this verse with the words milita drisha means the birds, they closed their eyes. And drita mauna, they were silent. Ordinarily, they were always making their chirping sounds, beep, 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 beep. But instead, the birds became silent. Speech is the cause of so many faults. If someone speaks in a deceptive or unbeneficial manner, his mind will be contaminated and therefore become restless. But if one's speech is controlled, then he will never offend any Vaishnava. Fighting and quarreling, uncontrolled speech, is the cause of all this. Therefore, in the Upadeshamrit, nectar of instruction, the first of all instructions given to us is Vacho Vegam. Our speech must be controlled. So here it says Dritta Mauna, the tongues of the water birds, which ordinarily make so many sounds, at once became silent. If someone desires to engage in bhajan, then they should practice silence, which means not speaking anything besides Krishna Nam and Krishna Katha. Then it really be called sadhana bhajan, when you don't speak anything else, only Krishna Nam, Krishna Katha. And also Milita Drisha, those birds closed their eyes. So they took a look at Krishna and then immediately they closed their eyes. What does that mean? Through the medium of their eyes, they took Krishna into their hearts. And then they had no desire to see any worldly object. Yata Chitta, remaining silent with their eyes closed. Their minds became fully controlled. From looking here and there and speaking in an unregulated manner, one's mind becomes restless. For this reason, Bilamangala Thakur plucked out both his eyes and became silent except for speaking Krishna Katha. But in our case, we should not harm ourselves like this. Don't harm your eyes or your tongue, but we should simply control them. Control our eyes and our tongue. And then automatically our mind will be controlled too. So here the gopis are saying here, this is a very astonishing thing. These birds who ordinarily chirp day and night have today become silent. And closing their eyes, they have taken Krishna into their hearts. Now automatically their minds have become controlled and they have no remaining desire in this world. If someone desires to engage in bhajan, in spiritual life, then they must be like this. This instruction is for all levels of the devotees. And according to one's level, one will be able to do this. Yet, in the Yugala Gita, we find the gopis saying, "Oh, my friend, Saki, we are not able to follow like this. Day and night, our minds are restless. We are not able to keep our eyes closed. And we are also constantly conversing, speaking. We are unable to remain silent. The swans and cranes, the birds, they go near to Krishna, and receive his direct darshan. But we cannot get such a good opportunity. So the birds are certainly of a higher class than us. This is the gopis' Uttam Adhikari vision, the vision of a topmost devotee. Even though their eyes remain open, Uttam Adhikari, even though their eyes remain open solely because they are always searching for Krishna, even though they are unable to remain silent solely because they are always speaking about Krishna, still they are considering everyone else to be more fortunate than themselves, and they are taking instruction from everything and everyone. Sanatana Goswami also gives another meaning to this verse. These birds, being attracted by the sound of Krishna's flute, they came near Krishna, but then they too could not remain silent. Very softly they chanted, "Krishna, Krishna, Krishna." And although they closed their eyes, their minds could not be controlled because waves of ecstasy were flowing inside them. When Krishna attracted the gopis in the night by playing the flutes, they stood before him silently. Some of them may have even closed their eyes, but does that mean that their minds were peaceful? Mm-mm. On the contrary, countless varieties of moods, bhav, were churning in their hearts. If anyone goes near Krishna, will they be able to remain silent? All the time they will be singing either Krishna Katha or Krishna Nam. And will they be able to keep their eyes closed? They will be looking here and there to find the place from which the hypnotic flute sound has come. And will their minds remain steady? Their minds will certainly become even more restless in a state of divine ecstasy. So now coming to the next verse. So Sanatana Goswami explained the same verse, but in the other way. So Sanskrit words, they have many meanings, and many meanings can be derived, but especially sometimes related to Krishna's pastimes, we see the mood of the gopis two main moods that can be derived from the shlokas, from the verses. One is in the mood of submission, Dakhin Bhav, and also mood of opposition or sulkiness, which is called Bhamya Bhav. Bhamya Bhav. So, for example, in one way, they close their eyes, they're meditating, like this. But now we see another meaning. No, actually, they were not meditating. Their minds were disturbed. They were thinking, searching for Krishna, searching for the sound of the flute. Like the Sanskrit words can always be in these two ways. Sanatana Goswami says that actually the birds, they were not quiet in just closing their eyes and like completely meditating, and no, they were actually, they were chanting the name of Krishna, and their eyes were closed, but their minds were not under control. They were actually having waves of ecstasy, because if someone comes near Krishna, they cannot be like peaceful. Many moods come in that person's heart, that living into this heart. So now the next verse will come. Bhagavatam 10:21-14. So now it's the verse of the Venugit. Venugit, chapter 21, Sound of the Flute. Prayo batam bavihaga monayo vanesmin. Krishnekshitam taduditam kalavenugitam. Aruhya yadruma bhujan uruchira pravalam. Shnanti milata drisho vigantanya vacha. Oh, friends, the birds of Vrindavan are actually sages. They have taken positions on the branches of the trees, which have now fresh leaves, from where they can easily have darshan of Shri Krishna. Sitting there in these branches of the trees and hearing the sweet vibration of Krishna's flute, they close their eyes and become immersed in divine bliss. Then Parangurudeva starts explaining. Krishna and Baladev were decorated as if they were dancing actors entering an arena to give a performance. They were adorned with forest flowers and jumped about like young deer. This verse says, Vigatanya Vachaha. The birds became silent, which corresponds to what was mentioned in the previous verse. Krishna played the flute very beautifully, and at once all the peacocks gathered together. They were sitting in the kadamba trees at the top of the mountain, but at once they came down to the meadow to be near Krishna. Then so many different varieties of birds came near and watched as Krishna was playing the flute, and the peacocks were dancing. At that time, seeing through the eyes of Bhav, the gopis spoke this verse. In great astonishment, they said, Parayo Batamba. So the word Amba generally means mother. But does that mean they were speaking to Jashoda? Will all of these sentiments come to them when they are before Mother Jashoda? No. That bhava would be constrained. The sentiments of Vatsalya and Madhurya are completely opposed to one another, and neither can remain in the other's presence. So here, Amba means they are addressing another Saki. Oh, my friend, the birds of this forest are actually Munis, because upon hearing the sweet melody of Krishna that he's playing on the flute, they've closed their eyes and they're simply remaining silent. They have descended to the trees of the meadows and are sitting on the branches in such a way there is no obstacle to their seeing Krishna, and where Krishna can also glance at them affectionately. So this explanation Gurudev always mentions about this verse, Prayo Batamba. Amba. In this verse, Amba means mother. But the question arises, the gopis are speaking to each other. Gopis have Madhurya Bhav, means they see Krishna as a beloved, right? So when they say mother here, are they speaking like mother, like for example, Mother Jashoda, or their mother, like this mother means mother, or means just a way of speaking to each other? So yeah, it's just a way of speaking to each other. So just like when you're like in Brazil, we also have like this. I don't know in English, and in Sanskrit also. Like when you are like too shocked about something or something like that, you can say, "Oh, mother!" Like just like you can say, "Oh my God!" Like or something like that. Or in Brazil, we have this also. Or we can speak to each other like this also. Like you can say, "Oh, my mother," but it's just like a way of speaking to another person. It doesn't mean that the person is your mother. So I think in English you don't have this. So just give me a second. So, because here the question arises, they are not speaking in the mother mood, like in the Vatsalya Bhav, because Vatsalya Bhav is opposed to Madhurya Bhav. We can see that even in this world, that, for example, even in materialistic people's lives and novels or whatever, we see that they never want to hear about the example or hear or see or know anything about the dealings, romantic dealings Or, for example, parents never want to know details about the romantic dealings of their children. Children, like even grown-up children, they never want to also know and see or know of romantic dealings of their parents. It's just like the even it's disgusting, right? You're like, oh no, you don't want to know. You don't want to, because why? Because Vatsalya is enemy of Madhurya Ras. It's called Vairi Ras, means they are enemies. And it's not in a bad way, it's just they don't mix nicely. Just like oil and water don't mix like this. They don't mix. And we can see this even in this material world is also we can see this. So that's why here in this verse, the word amba, prayo batamba. So batamba means amba. Amba means mother, but in this case doesn't mean like mother. Because if the gopis would be in front of of Mother Jashoda, sorry, they will not feel, they will not show all these feelings, speak about this. So amba here means they're just addressing each other. So actually it means like friend, right? They're just speaking a way of speaking to each other when they're like too much astonished. So the verse also has this word druma bhujan, means the branches of the trees. And it can also refer to the tree of the Vedas. So the Vedic tree, the scriptures, has thousands of long branches. And seated on certain branches according to their classification are karmis, jnanis, yogis, tapasis, different kinds of people performing their spiritual practice. The vulture is seated where there are no leaves. And the koel means the cuckoo bird, is seated where the mango buds are drooping. Eating these soft buds and leaves, it sings, coo-hoo, coo-hoo, cuckoo. The peacocks mostly sit in the tops of the kadamba trees, and they are very beautiful in appearance and very good dancers, peacocks. Among the Vedic branches are also seated various kinds of munis, sages. Seated on one branch is Patanjali Rishi, for example, that made that yoga, philosophy of yoga, Patanjali Yoga. On another is Jaimini Rishi, another is Gautam Rishi. But the birds of Vrindavan are different from them. And they are sitting on which branch of the allegorical Vedic tree? So if all the Vedas, now Parangala is making a beautiful comparison. If all the Vedas are compared to a tree, then these different rishis, they also compared to birds. But these birds of Vrindavan, they are sitting in which branch of this tree of the Vedas? The branch where the fruit that has no pit, the ripened fruit of the Puranas and all scriptures can be found. That ripened fruit is Srimad Bhagavatam. And sitting on this branch, they can taste the Bhagavatam, have darshan of Krishna, and Krishna can affectionately glance at them. So that's a beautiful comparison, which is also true that birds of Vrindavan are also great munis, because to take birth in Vrindavan, of course, or to get the position, actually they are great devotees, munis, and that performed austerities and spiritual practice for many lives. So the Vedic scriptures are compared to a kalpataru, means a desire tree. And there are many branches, right, with different paths of the Vedas for different kinds of people. But there is one of the branch that has a fruit, and which is this fruit of this tree is the best fruit, is the fruit without seed, without skin, only made of juice. So Nigama Kalpataror Garitam Phalam Sukhamukad Amrita Drava Samjutam. Srimad Bhagavatam is like one book of the Veda, but it's actually the most important, is the last book that Vyasadeva composed, and is the ripened fruits of the Vedic tree, desire tree of the Vedas. And the devotees, they are relishing this fruit of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is brought by the Guru Parampara. And this fruit has no skin, no pit, no seed, only juice. Imagine in this world, we cannot find a fruit which is, okay, maybe some fruit maybe don't have like seeds, or not, at least not some like direct seed you can see. But a fruit without skin, no skin, no seed, just nectar and pulp. So another comparison, very important, that Param Gurudev is mentioning here, Gurudev always says also, the devotees are compared to cuckoo birds. So there's a verse also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that describes how the devotees, they are compared to cuckoo birds. So in Hindi, the word is quail, bhakta kokil. In Bengali, they say kokil, bhakta kokil. Why? Because the cuckoo birds, they sing very nicely, beautiful cuckoo, and they generally eat mangoes and very delicious fruits like this. So they're compared to the devotees, relishing the transcendental pleasure of Lord's pastimes and his service and all that. And then the Gyanis, those who think that God doesn't have a form, or that they just want to merge in the impersonal feature of the Lord, they are compared to crows. Okay, so crows. Koa. Koa means the crows. So they're compared to crows. Crows, no one likes crows. Crows are always like, "Hey, ka, 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 ka," right? Making that sound and not eating anything, just like, ah, it seems like complaining all the time and like just disturbing. That crows. So the Gyanis are compared to crows. The devotees, the bhaktas, are compared to cuckoo, birds, cuckoo. And the kormis means those who are absorbed in fruitive activities. They are compared to camels. Because the camels, they eat one kind of fruit that has many thorns, many thorns. And even though they're eating that fruit full of thorns, like they start bleeding because of the thorns, but the camel thinks it's tasty, but he's actually eating his own blood. Anyway, so coming back. So the gopis are saying, certain munis, certain sages have become birds in Vrindavan. And upon hearing the beautiful melody from Krishna's flute, these munis have become silent and are sitting quietly with controlled minds. Just see how fortunate they are and how unfortunate we are. Being birds, they can hear the melody of Krishna's flute and approach him and feel so much bliss, ananda. But we can't listen to his flute or go near him. If we could become cuckoo birds or parrots or any other bird and go hear Krishna when he's playing the flute at Govardhan and see the peacocks dancing, then our lives would be meaningful. So the gopis again, they are seeing living entities, other animals, as being higher than them and praying to take birth in that species. So this is a symptom of Mahabhav. Okay? When it's called Tirtak Jani Prapti Lalasa, one of the 6 symptoms of Mahabhav, of this topmost love, when you think, even you prefer to take birth as an animal birth in next life, because you think the animals can serve more than you. This happens with the gopis. So now one more verse Param Gurudeva will quote. A verse from the Venu Gita again, chapter 21, 10th canto, verse 11. Dhanyasas muragatayo api harinyahitam yanandanandanamapata vichitra bhesham akarnaveno ranitam saha Krishna sara pujam dadur virachitam pranaya valokai. So the gopis are saying, this ignorant deer, the deer are also so fortunate because, accompanied by their husbands, they are standing motionlessly and listening to the vibration of Krishna's flute. It is as if they are offering puja to the gorgeously attired son of Nanda with their loving glances. So the deer, the female deer come with the male deer, and they just like worshipping Krishna with their glances. Param Gurudev explains. The gopis' meditation now became diverted. And again, their internal vision was directed towards another group of living entities. So first, they classified the bees as more fortunate than themselves. Then the swans and cranes as superior to the bees. The birds who reside on land as more fortunate than the water birds. And the deer now as superior to the birds. So slowly, each animal was higher than the other one. So now they say, most fortunate of all are these deer. Because not only have they at once approached Krishna, not only have they received his loving glance with their eager eyes, but in their exchange of glances was the most affection. Muragatayo, people call deer foolish because the deer easily fall into traps. They are considered foolish as a species. With some simple allurement, they can be easily captured. We have heard that sometimes hunters have someone play a flute very sweetly, and then being attracted by the sound, the deer come near and fall into a trap. But the gopis say, we don't consider the deer foolish at all. Hearing the sound of Krishna's flute and seeing his gorgeous dress, they have approached him. So Upatra Vichitra Veshan means Krishna is decorated with forest flowers and leaves such as the fragrant mango leaf. He is adorned with red powder in various places and has the designs of spiders drawn on his cheeks. And upon the body of Govardhan, he appears more beautiful than millions of ornaments. Sahakrishna Sara means the female deer were searching here and there for Krishna, and their husbands were following behind them to protect them. Pujam Dadur Virachitam Pranayava Lokai means that they gazed towards Krishna's beautiful face with great love, and it was as if they were offering puja to him with their sidelong glances. Upon seeing this, how affectionately Krishna also glanced at them, seeing how much mutual love there was between them. The gopis said, they've received such a wonderful opportunity, but where is such an opportunity for us? Can we approach Krishna and offer archana with our eyes? We are not so fortunate. If after leaving these bodies we could become female deer, then we could receive such an opportunity and our lives would be meaningful. So the gopis, Titak, Johnny, Prapti, Lalasa, again hankering to take birth as an animal species. Now the deer. So sometimes Param Gurudev explains also about this verse that what happens is the female deer, they heard Krishna's flute, they went running to meet Krishna. And then the male deer, the husbands, they at once follow them. Because then they explain, like example, if you go to some auspicious thing like see sadhu, like meet Gurudeva, program Harikatha, temple, we should always go together with your partner. Means husband and wife should go together, not only one, they should go as a family together. So, but women generally are very like more enthusiastic and like this than men. And so, and like more soft hearted. So women generally have more like tendency to do bhakti, especially in Kali Yuga. So the female deer went straight away, but then the husbands, instead of like saying, "Oh, why did you go?" they also followed them and went to see Krishna. And then when they arrived next to Krishna, they were just they're animals; they cannot speak, but they were completely intoxicated by Krishna's beauty, and then they were just like staring at him and exchanging love and affection through the glance. Pujam Dadur Virachitam Pranayava Lokai. And then Krishna was also patting their back, like caressing them. So the gopis say, but our husbands, they're not like that. If we want to go to Krishna, they'll forbid us. It's not like they'll follow us and go also to meet Krishna. No, they will forbid us. We're prohibited to go. So the deer is like so much better. If we were deer, then we would be able to come close to Krishna. But we are women, so we can't. So chapter 7 is the next chapter, which the name of the chapter is The Animals of Vraj Are Stunned. So it's about the cows of Vrindavan, how they become completely stunned by hearing Krishna's flute. So we'll stop here. Next Monday we continue. Page 70, 69. Those who have the book. Chapter 7. If anyone would like to say anything or ask anything, please let me know. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyevacha pattanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Jai Sri Radhe.